Look, we've been very straight on this from day one, and my colleague Kunal Ghosh will speak on this because he's a member of the Legislative Assembly. But our question is, what is your intent behind bringing this code? What is your intent behind bringing this code? Has it been really brought in for the welfare, for equality, keeping in mind all the constitutional provisions, or are you just bringing it in? And we are very sure of the intent is just to continue religious polarization. It is just to continue religious polarization, because when people talk about the Uniform Civil Code, please understand, in criminal procedure, we already have a Uniform Criminal Code. So if you're a criminal, it doesn't matter who you belong to, you'll be treated fairly. But India is a country that has come up with various religions. We are unity in diversity, and India cannot be looked on in homogeneous terms. That is the problem with what is our basic problem with the BJP, that they want everyone to look the same, dress the same, eat the same, and chant Jai Shri Ram, and that's not something that is possible in India. So this is something that is going to hit the tribals the most. It's going to hit the tribals, it's going to hit the minorities, it's going to hit, because as far as personal law is concerned, this is something that has always been very sensitive, and this is something that our constitutional provisions, when you look at the Forest Rights Act, when you look at the Scheduled Tribes Act, it allows for differences even within. Why do we have areas in the northeast where outsiders can't buy land? Why do you have areas in Himachal and Kashmir where outsiders can't buy land? Why do you have these provisions? These are constitutional safeguards. So when you bring in something like the UCC with only religious polarization in mind, you are doing away with this constitutional safeguards.
As per some, that the tribal community might be exempted from...
So who decides? So you will exempt the tribals and you will not exempt... look, everyone is equal in the eyes of law. So you will exempt the tribals, you will not exempt the Muslims, you will not exempt the... who decides? If it is uniform, then it is indeed uniform. So again, within a uniform civil code, you are deciding how non-uniform it will be. If you are giving an exemption, then by nature it is not uniform, right? Then it is just a particular selective civil code. It is not a uniform civil code. The minute you decide to give one group an exemption, it becomes a selective civil code. Who decides this? Then all the more intent that it is a religious polarization.
And one question on the egg issue.
Right.
Multiple people of the BJP, especially the MLAs, they are of the opinion that they are working on it. It's not to promote vegetarianism, or it's not done in a way to,
Oh, really? Oh, then what is it done for? Because there are only two reasons. Cuisine and midday meals, there are only two reasons why you would do this, why you would do away with an animal protein. One is that it is cultural, that we live in a society where the cultural is vegetarianism, where Jainism may be, if you're living in a part of Gujarat where Jainism is the predominant religion. So the reason is cultural, and second, that the second is that it is nutritionally superior or inferior. In this case, it is not cultural, because 98% of Bengalis are non-vegetarian. 71% of women are anemic. You have over, I think, 40% between 25 and 40% of school-going children of a certain age are stunted. So sitting in that condition, sitting in that situation, you cannot have where you're doing away with animal protein. So the reason is not cultural. Second is, it is nutritionally deficient. Eggs are a class A protein, which means all the amino acids are covered in that. But the only non-animal protein which is first class is soya. Our children don't like soya. When we feed it in schools, they don't like soya. So here you are substituting. So what is the reason? If the reason is not cultural and the reason is not to promote vegetarianism, give me one good reason. Why don't you make your MLA canteen in the West Bengal Legislative Assembly, give it to ISKCON? Why don't you eat Rajma Chawal? And what is Rajma? Do Bengalis know what Rajma is? I didn't know what Rajma was till I went to Delhi. Please tell me. If I go to Karimpur, I go to Nakashipada and I tell them Rajma ki, they'll look at me. They will not know what Rajma is. It is not a bean, it is not a lentil, it is not a legume that is native to Bengal and that people have a taste for. We are looking at children, and if you see some of their comments, it makes me laugh. They say, oh, why don't they just eat at home? Excuse me, the people who are commenting on social media, their kids are not dependent on the midday meal program. Our 40% of our school-going children go to school because that is the one nutritious hot meal of the day. In Tamil Nadu, when they started a hot breakfast, you found school children's attention span going up by 30%. Attendance improves. the better the food, it is something to say. It is a reality of our country that the hot nutritious meal is what brings children to school, and you are doing away with eggs. So, this is absolute garbage. I would advise these MLAs and all our 65 traitors who have gone. I want them to go back to their own MLA constituencies and explain to their people how they are with these bunch of jokers.
Didi, another question is that Sanjay Raut, he alleged that...
My favorite man, yes. What has he said now?
He said rupees 2,000 crore was stolen from Ram Mandir Trust.
Yes.
And it's split to engineer political splits between Trinamool Congress and Shiv Sena UBT.
Okay,
So,
Sampath Rai, who's the president
right,
of
right.
the trust, he has resigned.
Oh.
8 people have been arrested so far.
So I'm aware of this. So look at the numbers. Now in 2020, the auditors had already flagged that you're looking at these donations which are going to come in, and these are raw donations. So somebody's going to give cash. So 3,500 crores of raw donations have come in, and there is no audit trail. There is no receipt whatsoever. Second, what is missing? 70 kilos of silver, 1,250 kilos of gold. You have 200 crores in cash. Now they say the Paduka and the necklace of the Lord is also missing. You have the Sindhi community being extremely vocal and saying that, we've donated 200 silver bricks of a kilo each, and they have no idea where that is gone, with Julelal's photograph and Julelal's thing of it. So under those circumstances, what you find is that we've got, and why? What are these small 8 people that you have arrested? Who are these small 8 people that you have arrested? Just take him inside. Who are these small 8 people that you have arrested? This trust is looked after by the Prime Minister. He has gone and done the temple. What are you talking about? And Yogi Ji is saying don't politicize the issue. You have millions of Hindu devotees have placed their faith in you, and this is what you're doing. Where is the cash? This Champat Rai is Lampat now. What have you been doing? Is he the only person there? Who are the names there? Nripendra Mishra, even this Ganesh Kumar, I believe, Vanish Kumar, wherever he goes, something vanishes. Our votes vanished in Bengal. Now Ganesh Kumar is in this trust. Again, the money has vanished from there.